Қайырлы күн, құрметті әріптестер. Қалдарыңыз қалай? Менің даусым естіліп тұр ме? Сәлеметсіз бе, Айнагүл, Алия Суиналиева, Алтын Даулетярова, Гүлнара Дүйсенгалиева, Нұршат Нұғмалова, Алтын Даулетярова, Назгүл Абулгазиева, Асель Жауынбайына. Сәлеметсіздер ме? Жақсы, Алтын, рахмет, естіліп тұрса болды. Ал бүгін күнімізге сәттілік тілейміз, сіздерге де, өзіме де. Жақсы күн болсын, жұма күні мүбарак болсын. Ораза уақытында тілеген тілектеріміздің барлығы қабыл болсын. Барлығымыздың отбасымызға, бүгін отбасы күні деп жатыр ғой. Әрбір отбасына Алланың нұры жаусын. Барлығымыз аман болайық. Шынар Габидулина, сәлеметсіз ба? Алтын Даулетярова, рахмет, әумин, аман болыңыз дейді, рахмет сізге де. Айсура Гатаува, сәлеметсіз ба? Райхан Асылбековна, сәлеметсіз ба? Алия Суиналиева, сіздің отбасыңызға да амандық тілеймін дейді, рахмет, рахмет. Слуай Батырова, good afternoon, Jim Санесовна. Good day, everyone. Happy family day. Thanks. Now, good day, my friends. How did you spend your time? I'm so happy that you are here in my online course. Now, today's session's theme, критериалды ойлау қабілетін дамытудың стратегиялары. Critical thinking, developing critical thinking strategies. Осы тақырыпта талдайтын боламыз. Осы тақырыпта семинар өткізуге тырысамын қазір. Сондықтан семинарға барлығыңыз қатысып, сұрақтарға жауап беріп, ойланып, жаңағы өзіңіздің пікірлеріңізді айтуға дайын болыңыздар. Соған сіздерге сәттілік тілеймін, барлықтарыңызға. Now, What is it, critical thinking? Its definition. Critical thinking is that mode of the thinking about any subject, content, or problem in which the thinker improves the quality of his or her thinking by skillfully taking charge of the structures inherent in thinking and imposing intellectual standards upon them. The aspects of the critical thinking: dispositions, criteria, argument, point of view, procedures for applying criteria. Now, critical thinking strategies. Begin with a question. Activate students' prior knowledge. Help students to make connections. Critical thinking strategies. I'll continue. Place students into groups. Prioritize it. Try the turnaround strategy. Change their misconceptions. Now, dear friends, I want to start today's session with the seminar, the theme Critical Thinking and 21st Century Skills. You may write in your notebook Critical Thinking and 21st Century Skills. I want to provide with you seminar. I'll give you some questions and be ready to answer it. Critical thinking and 21st century skills. Now I want to start our seminar with a game. Its name is Royal Behavior. Royal behavior. Now I'll give you some questions. Now attentively listen. Queen Victoria, while taking photo with her grandchildren, always had one of her servants hid beneath her dress. Now I'll read it once more. Queen Victoria, while taking photo with her grandchildren, always had one of her servants hid beneath her dress. Now I'll read this question the last time. Now listen attentively. Queen Victoria, while taking photo with her grandchildren, always had one of her servants hid beneath her dress. Now I'll give you wait time for thinking. You may write your answer. Now what means the word hid? Спрятаться. Now what means the word servants? Служанка. Now question, why does she have him? 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 Now the meaning of the word hid – спрятаться, servants – служанки. Now the next story. Sultan Mustafa III of the Ottoman Empire had only 64 sons. Now I'll read it once more. Sultan Mustafa III of the Ottoman Empire had only 64 sons. Now I'll read this story the last time. Sultan Mustafa III of the Ottoman Empire had only 60 sons. Now question. Why did not he have daughters? Question. Why did not he have daughters? Why did not he have daughters? I'll give you some wait time for thinking and your answer right. Why did not he have daughters? No? Let's answer these questions. Queen Elizabeth, while taking photo with her grandchildren, always had one man of her servants hid beneath her dress. Question. Why does she have him? Answer. To hold Queen Elizabeth's grandchildren. Answer. The first question. To hold Queen Elizabeth's grandchildren. Now the next question was, King Mustafa had only 65 sons. Question. Why did not he have daughters? Answer. Because he had only Y chromosomes. Because he had only Y chromosomes. Because he had only Y chromosomes. Now check up your answers. Now how did you think? Did you use creative or critical thinking? You may write your answers on your commentary. How did you think? Did you use creative or critical thinking? Now, what do you know about 21st century skills? You may write on your commentary. What do you know about 21st century skills which you use in your practice nowadays? What do you know about 21st century skills which you use in your practice nowadays. And now, today's seminar's objectives are: the first, state what 21st century skills are. The next, identify 21st century skills. The third, demonstrate and use 21st century skills. By the end of the session, my teachers will be able to state what 21st century skills are, identify 21st century skills, demonstrate and use 21st century skills. Now pay attention. Academic verbs: state, identify, and demonstrate. Now let's continue our seminar with the gallery work strategy. Now you know some ideas about 21st century skills. I guess you noticed the names of the skills. Please read these names of the skills. Promoting 21st century skills, developing an awareness of and preference in. Now the first, critical thinking and problem solving. Critical thinking and problem solving. I'll read it 3 times. Now please remember: critical thinking and problem solving. Now the second skills of the 21st century, collaboration and communication. Collaboration and communication. Collaboration and communication. Now the next, creativity and imagination. Creativity and imagination. Creativity and imagination. Now the next, citizenship. 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 Now the next skills, digital literacy. Digital literacy. Digital literacy. Now the last skills of the 21st century is student leadership and personal development. Student leadership and personal development. Now you know the names of the 21st century skills. How many skills of the 21st century skills? 7. Now name it, please. Critical thinking and problem solving, collaboration and communication, creativity and imagination, citizenship, digital literacy, student leadership and personal development. Now let us explore them deeper. I'll give you some definitions of these critical skills. Now, please remember, read. You may write in your copybook. Now, the first definitions of the critical thinking and the problem solving. Self-directed thinking that produces new and innovative ideas and solves problems. Reflecting critically on learning experiences and the processes and making effective decisions. You may discuss yourselves. Now, definitions of the critical thinking and the problem solving is self-directed thinking that produces new and innovative ideas and solves problems, reflecting critically on learning experiences and the processes and making effective decisions. Now, do you remember? Now the next skill is collaboration and communication. Now what is it? Communicating effectively orally and in writing. Actively listening to others in diverse and multilingual environments and understanding verbal and non-verbal communication. Assuming shared responsibility, cooperating and compromising to produce new and innovative ideas and solutions. Now the second skills of the 21st century is collaboration and communication. Communicating effectively orally in writing, because communication nowadays it's modern and useful. That is why in our education you must use and develop our communication skills of the students. Do you agree with me? Now the next skills of the 21st century, creativity and imagination. The definitions of these skills: developing innovation and curiosity, imagining and carrying out new ideas, creativity and imagination. Now the next skills is citizenship. The definitions of this skill is developing active, globally aware citizens who have the skills, knowledge and the motivation to address issues of the human and environmental sustainability and work towards a fair world in a spirit of the mutual respect and open dialogue. Developing an understanding of what it means to be a citizen of your own country and your own country's values. Now what means the word values? Ценности, құндылықтар. Now how do you use in your practice these skills? For example, citizenship. Using these skills, you develop their loving about motherland, for example. Respect their place, environment, respect each other. Love their country, their own country. Now, the next skills, digital literacy. Digital literacy. Using technology as a tool to reinforce, extend and deepen learning. Enabling the learner to discover and communicate knowledge and information in a globalized world. Student leadership and personal development. Developing honesty, leadership and responsibility in. Now, digital literacy is important and modern nowadays, because without digital literacy we do not anything. Now the next, student leadership and personal development. Student leadership and personal development. Personal development. Developing honesty, leadership and responsibility in learners to help them to contribute the safety and benefits to others. Developing career and life skills and encouraging lifelong learners. Lifelong learners. Student leadership and personal development. Developing honesty, leadership and responsibility in learners to help them to contribute to the safety and benefit to others. Developing career and life skills and encouraging lifelong learners. Now, I'll give you some questions now. How many skills of the 21st century skills? How many? Yes, 7 skills of the 21st century skills. You may name it. All right. Now, you know the names of the critical thinking skills. Now, learn by heart all the definitions of the 21st century skills, please. Now, I'll continue our seminar with the video. Now you will see how to encourage critical thinking in teaching. This is a proper time to move to see the video. Your task will be watch Alistair Williamson's using a map of the world with his young learner class and focus on the after that I'll give you some questions. Okay?
Bulgaria. No, that's Algeria. Look. Bulgaria. No, that's Bolivia. No. Yes, Mexico. Greenland. Which is bigger, Greenland or Australia? Look at the map.
Greenland.
So these are the sizes of these countries on the map. This is Australia, maybe this way around, that's hard to see. And this is Greenland, hard to know the orientation. But you can see Greenland is significantly larger on the map we're looking at, on the map they know and they trust. Which one's bigger, Greenland or Australia? Greenland. Is it 2 times bigger, 3 times bigger?
I think 2. About 2 times.
Okay, who can catch? Edwin. Very good. Curtis. Which is bigger, Greenland or Australia? Let me have a look. Greenland, very good. Excellent. In reality, however, when you look at the globe, this is the accurate navigation device, of course. You look at Australia here, and you look at Greenland here, and you consider the relative size, then you can see very clearly that Australia is the size of my thumb, and that Greenland isn't even the size of my little finger. So you know that Australia is bigger than Greenland. Actually, something like 4 times bigger. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So you've got on this thing, Australia's bigger, and on this thing, Greenland's bigger. Anyone know why?
The map may be wrong.
Ah!
No.
So you think, so one of them, well, they can't be both correct.
Because the Earth is round, but the map is flat.
Very good, excellent. This orange, what shape is it?
Circle.
So if I think this is like the Earth, if I want to make a map like this, okay, well, let's see if I can do it. I'm just going to take that, okay? How about that? Magic, I think so. Now, what is this? Is this flat?
Well, no.
Okay, so how can I make it flat? What can I do? Bah, very good. So,
Very good.
what happens? Is that a nice map?
No.
Why is it different? Which is better? Which is more accurate? And it's a difficult question for them to answer initially, because some of them think the map is more accurate. They see it every day. It's treated as a fact. It's true as far as they're concerned at school. But they also know that this is the correct shape for the Earth. So, what's true? And it's that which forms the basis of the lesson. So that's a ball. That's round, like this. Let's see what happens. We can make a flat thing. We can make a map. Yes, John?
But it will turn different.
It will turn different, exactly. This map, is it the same as the other one? No. Okay, let me just show you then. So, this is the map we know, and here's the one on the thing. Is this a nice map? Do you like this one?
Yes.
This one's a little bit different from this one.
Why?
Have a look, tell me. What's the difference? Curtis.
This is get longer.
This is longer. So, this one's longer, and this one's fatter. So, this map is fat Africa. This map,
It's a
Slim and
long and
long Africa.
one of them is a wrong. Or maybe both are wrong.
Wow, very nice. Both of them are wrong. So what's the problem with this one? What's wrong with this one?
Or the place the shape has changed.
Amazing. Very good. See this one, yes.
I think you stressed it too much.
Brilliant. So here, the problem is the shape of the countries is stretched. Yeah, the shape is wrong. But what's the problem on this one?
The shape is still wrong, I guess.
The shape of Greenland is too big and Australia is too small.
Excellent.
But when
right.
we-
So this one's wrong because the size is wrong. Too big, too small. But this one's wrong because the...
Shape scratch.
There you go. I'm not a geography teacher. My knowledge is limited. But without stretching it or changing the shape of some of the countries, you can't take a sphere and open it up and make a single flat surface. There's an inherent distortion. And that's fine. It's just the way it is. And that's a nice thing to understand as well, because it's an understanding of shapes. It's is that topography? It's understanding of topography. If that's not the right word, don't put in. Topography. And relative shapes and sizes. These maps have names. The name of this map is Mercator.
What does that mean?
Well, that's the name of the man who made the map. And this one, the name is Peters, yeah. Because Mr. Peters made this map. Captains, can you come and get a piece of paper from me, please? How many do you need, Mr. Biscuits? 5. There you go. 4,000. I can't. 4,000. I can't give you 4 million. Man, don't be greedy. Look at the questions here. Watch the program and then answer the questions. Okay?
So let's welcome my guests to the show. First up, it's a Flemish map maker from the 16th century.
Now, you have seen the video about critical thinking. Now, I'll prepare for you questions. What is the role of critical thinking and the problem solving in this video? What is the role of critical thinking and the problem solving in this video? You watch this video. Adamson using a map of the world with his young cleaner class and explain. What is the role of the critical thinking and the problem solving in this video? You may answer and write your answer on your commentary. Now the next question. Can these skills be taught at all? Can these skills be taught at all? Can these skills be taught at all? Now, let's finish our seminar. I'll prepare for you questions. Some. How are you going to apply 21st century skills in your sessions? How are you going to apply 21st century skills in your sessions? How are you going to apply 21st century skills in your sessions? Now the next. What 21st century skills have been using in your career, in your practice? What 21st century skills have been using in your career? You may write your answers. Now, let's make a feedback. Sorry. 21st century skills are the skills that learners need to be successful in the workplace. Do you agree? In the 21st century skills? The 21st century skills include citizenship, collaboration and communication, creativity and imagination, critical thinking and problem solving, digital literacy, student leadership and personal development. Do you remember it? How many skills? There are 7 skills. Now, communication is about sharing thoughts, questions, ideas, and solutions. Collaboration is about working together to reach a goal and putting talent, expertise, and smarts to work. Critical thinking is looking at problems in a new way and linking learning across subjects and disciplines. Creativity is trying new approaches to get things done, innovation and invention. Now, deep learning. Deep learning is the delivery of rich content in innovative ways that allow learners to learn and then apply what they have learned. It facilitates real-world applications and skills. It prepares them for life beyond the classroom in the 21st century workplace and allows learners to master academic content, think critically and solve complex problems, work collaboratively, communicate effectively, Be self-directed and learn how to learn. Now our feedback. What went well on this seminar? What went well? Do you like? What to improve? What would you change and adapt in instructions? What went well? What to improve? What would you change and adapt in instructions? Now, thank you for your attention. I'll finish today's seminar about critical thinking and 21st century skills. Let's pay attention on your commentaries. Okay? Aysuru Gatauva writes for answers. Maybe to be queen wanted to push up her skirt to be better photographed. Yes, your answer is critically. Because the servant channeled the spirit of her late husband. Так, Алия Свиналиева. Если рождались девочки, они отдавали бы их простым людям, кажется. Так, Слувай Батырова. She has him because she wanted to make the dress seem more magnificent. Айсура Гатаова. Because the sons are the continuation of the generation. Анагуль Арстанова отвечает critical. Your answer 7 skills. Yes, you're right. Алтын Даулетьярова 7 skills. Алия 7 skills. Шнар Габидулина 7 skills. Назгуль Кисметова collaborative work give critical thinking. Назгул Абдугазиева 7 skills. Лайля Мажин. Слувай Батырова. Collaborative work helps us to think critical. Райхан Аслубековна. Yes, communication develops understanding the speech. Райхан Аслубековна. 7 skills. Райхан Аслубековна. Collaboration and communication, citizenship and student leadership. Райхан Аслубековна. Critical thinking improves express their own ideas. Super answer. Дарья Акуанова. In critical thinking, children learn to say their own opinions, share it, hear others' ideas. In this video, teacher gives them motivation after their answers is too important. Gulsizm Saginova. We should enlarge our using of 21st century skills. Laila Majin. Critical thinking helps to express one's thoughts. Aysura. The role of critical thinking is very harsh because with each other children listen to the teacher, think in their possible response, collaborate and in the end Try to find the right answer. Siupansa. Khaybek Amangalif writes, in critical thinking, the learners will try to solve the problem, question, using their own ideas and opinions, give their own version of the problem. Maybe. Gulnara Dusingaliva, children have come to the reply of the teacher at the end of the communication. It's the rule of the thinking here. Laila Majin writes, yes, I agree. Now, how do you think 21st of century skills of the 21st of century skills nowadays, today, are important or not? Do you use in your practice nowadays? Now, do you increase your knowledge about 21st of century skills? Do you increase your knowledge through this seminar? Somebody of you give me definitions of this one of the skills. For example, give one definition of these skills, please. I'm waiting for you. You are agree with me. Now, do you like today's session or seminar? Now, thank you for your attention, for your feedback. Now, I'll give you some wait time or break. Have a break, please. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay? Now let's continue our session. The next session, the theme, Bloom's taxonomy, a revised version, creating activities for secondary school in accordance with Bloom's taxonomy. Now, theme of the lecture: sport course participants with the opportunity to understand Bloom's taxonomy and create activities based on it. Bloom was an American educational psychologist who is the best remembered for his significant contributions to the theory of the mastery learning, as well as this renowned and widely used taxonomy. A teacher's guide to Bloom's taxonomy. The purpose of to develop a clear understanding of what Bloom's taxonomy is and how you can apply it in your own teaching and learning. Towards the end of the article, you will find some free Bloom's resources and teaching resources which will help get you started. If you have been teaching for any length of time, you are extremely likely to have come across Bloom's taxonomy at one point or another. Maybe you are very familiar with it already and use it daily to inform your teaching and assessment. Now, what is taxonomy? Let's give the definition of this taxonomy. As it isn't a word we use every day, let's start by getting to grips with what we mean by the term taxonomy. Taxonomy is the practice and the science of the classifications of things or concepts, including the principles that underline such classification. Put simply, taxonomy is the science of the organizing, thinking, and classifying them according to various criteria. Bloom's taxonomy was originally published in 1956 by a team of the cognitive psychologists at the University of Chicago. The system was originally published under the title Taxonomy of Educational Objectives, the classification of educational goals. Bloom's taxonomy is a classification system used to define and distinguish different levels of human cognition, thinking, learning, and understanding. Educators have typically used Bloom's taxonomy to inform or guide for development of the assessments and the instructional methods such as questioning strategies. It is named after the committee's chairman Bloom. The group sought to design a logical framework for teaching and learning goals that would help researchers and educators understand the fundamental ways in which people acquire and develop new knowledge, skills, and understandings. Their initial intention was to help academics avoid duplicity and efforts in developing different tests to measure the same educational objectives. The system was originally published under the title Taxonomy of educational objectives, the classification of educational goals. Now we have nowadays 6 levels of taxonomy used in our practice. Now Bloom's taxonomy. You know this system and use in your practice, I see. Now the first level, for example, remember. The next level is understand. Apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. They are academic verbs. They create through the nouns of these words. For example, knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Now the first level, remember, for example, to recall facts and ideas. In this level, students are challenged to recall and remember the basic facts and information of the story of text. Now the next level gives the student a chance to show a fundamental understanding of the story of text. Now the third level apply to use information, theories, concepts, and skills to solve the problems. Now the next level, analyze to make connections, recognize patterns and deeper meanings. Analyze. Now the next level is evaluate, to make a justify and judgment. Now the last, create, to combine elements of the learning to create new or original work. Now cognitive domain. If we start remember, it means recognizing and recalling facts. Recognizing and recalling facts. Recalling facts. At this level, students are challenged to recall and remember the basic facts and information of the story of the text. Now the next, understand. Understanding what the facts mean. Now the next, apply. Applying the facts, rules, concepts, and ideas. Now the next level, by Bloom taxonomy, breaking down information into component parts. Now the next level, by Bloom taxonomy, evaluate, judging the value of information or ideas. Now, for the high water thinking skills students, you may use academic verb create when we make up your lesson objectives. It is combining parts to make a new whole. It means. Now, affective domain. Affective domain. Through the low and high order thinking skills. So first of all, receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing. Characterizing. Now, psychomotor domain. Psychomotor domain reflects basic fundamental movements, perceptual abilities, physical abilities, skilled movement, and the non-discursive communication. Psychomotor domain reflects basic fundamental movements, perceptual abilities, physical abilities, skilled movement, non-discursive communication. Discursive communication. Now, remember to recall facts and ideas. To recall facts and ideas. At this level, students are challenged to recall and remember the basic facts and information of the story or text. Verb list, for example, cite, define, describe, draw, identify, label, list, match, memorize, name, record, repeat, state, and write. When we make up your lesson objectives for the low level students, when we choose the by Bloom taxonomy, remember level. You must use these verb lists: cite, define, describe, draw, identify, label, list, match, memorize, name, record, repeat, state, write. For example, identify the types of the sports. Now draw the pictures, define the key words, define the key phrases. Memorize these 3 words in this topic, for example. Match. Now the next, understand. Understand. To comprehend information and grasp its meaning. Level 2, understand. To comprehend information and grasp its meaning. Level 2 gives the student a chance to show a fundamental understanding of the story or text. No? You may use this list of academic verbs: add, clarify, compare, contrast, explain, give, infer, observe, predict, summarize, and translate. They are academic verbs by Bloom taxonomy. You must learn by heart these verbs because they are important, they are useful for making up your future planning. That is why I stop here. Now the next, apply. Apply. To use information theories, concepts and skills to solve problems. Here students gain an opportunity or demonstrate their ability to use the information in a new way. Значит, олар применяет, да? The main verbs or academic verbs in this way. You must memorize this: adapt or use, assign, calculate, contrast, employ, express, illustrate, modify, show, solve, and use. Now, level 4, analyze. To make connections, recognize patterns and deeper meanings. In this level, students can deconstruct the story into its component parts to better understand it. In this way, you must use academic verbs below: break down, characterize, classify, contrast, distinguish, explore, identify, investigate, order, prioritize. It is analyze level. Analyze level. It is forces level. Now, fifth level. Evaluate. Evaluate. To make and justify a judgment. This level affords an opportunity for students to take what they have learned and make something new from it. In this level, you may use these academic verbs: emprise, assess, critique, defend, determine, estimate, explain, grade, justify, rank, or rate. Now, the next, create. Create. To combine elements of learning to create new or original work. In this level, affords an opportunity for students to take what they have learned and make something new from it. And use these academic verbs by Bloom taxonomy: produce, portray, integrate, generate, develop, design, correspond, contrast, compose, combine, symbolize, abstract. Now Bloom's questions. Bloom's questions. As Bloom's taxonomy helps organize educational objectives into low and high order cognitive thinking levels, its underlying framework is extremely useful in assisting teachers in composing questions for students that provide opportunity to assess those levels of thinking. While the verbs listed above serve as good starting points for creating lesson objectives, in this session we will take a look at some examples of specific questions at each level, as well as some suggestions for possible activities you may wish to use in lesson to help in your assessments. Now, level 1, remember. Suggested questions. How many? Who has it that? What happened after? Can you name the person who? Who said that? What does this mean? Why did? Describe what happened when. Which is true and which is false. And the suggested activities in this level of remember match character names and profiles. Arrange scrambled stories scenes in sequence. Identify most important attributes of main characters. Now the last, create a chart, picture, diagram of the information. They are depends each other. Now the next level, understand. Understand. So suggested questions. Can you write in your own words? What do you think will happen next? Can you provide a short outline? Who was the main character? Who do you think? What was the main idea? Can you distinguish between? What were the differences between? Now suggested activities in this on this level. Understand. Write a summary of the main events. Retell the story in your own words. Explain what you think the main idea of the piece was. Predict what could happen next in the story. Now the next. Apply. Level 3, apply. Suggested questions. Have you experienced anything like this in your own life? What questions would you ask? Could this have happened in? How could you use this? What would happen if? Now, on this level of apply, suggested activities. Make a model to show how it works. Rewrite the scene according to how you would react. transfer the main character to a different setting. Produce examples from real life based on the central problem in the story. Now pay attention. The academic verbs make, rewrite, transfer, produce. Produce. Now the next level, fourth level, analyze. Analyze. In this level, suggested questions. What is the underlying theme? Can you identify the main idea, character, or events? Can you distinguish between? What other possible outcomes could work here? And the suggested activities on this level analyze. Select the parts of the story that were the most exciting, happiest, saddest, believable, fantastic, and etc. Now the next. Differentiate fact from opinion in the text. Distinguish between events in the story that are credible and fantastical. The last, compare and contrast two important characters. Now, using these suggested questions, you must pay attention of the academic verbs select, differentiate, distinguish, compare, and contrast of the level of fourth, analyze. Now the next, the fifth level, evaluate. Suggested questions. What is your position on the text and can you defend it? Determine the most important points of the text and rank them in order. What would you have done? How effective was? Now suggested activities. Write a review of the text, expressing your personal opinion on it. Assess the value of the story. Compare and contrast this story with another you have read. Judge the main character and their actions from a moral or ethical point of view. Now let's underline the main academic verbs on this level. Evaluate, write, review, assess, compare and contrast, judge. Now pay attention on the last level 6. Create. On this suggested questions. What would happen if? Can compose a song about? Can you see another solution to? how many ways can you? Now suggested activities. Compose an internal monologue for the main character during a pivotal moment. Imagine you are one of the characters and write a diary entry. Create a new character and explain how they would fit into the story. Changing the setting and the characters retell the story in your own words. On the last level of create, you must pay attention of the academic verbs compose, imagine, create, and the change. Now I'll give you some task. Match column A with B. Now for the remember level. This level affords an opportunity for students to take what they have learned and make something new from it. Now the next, understand. Students can deconstruct the story into its component parts to better understand it. Now the next, apply. Students are challenged to recall and remember the basic facts and information of the story or text. For the analyze level, this level gives students an opportunity to develop an opinion and back it up with reasoning and evidence. Evaluate. Students gain an opportunity to demonstrate their ability to use the information in a new way. Now create. Give the student a chance to show a fundamental understanding of the story of text. Now the key. Match columns A with the B. They are keys. Now have you finished? Have you finished? Now check up your. The first, it will be C. C. Remember, students are challenged to recall and remember the basic facts and information of story of text. Remember, C. You may match. Remember. Now the next. The second. F. The second F. The second understand. F. Give the student a chance to show a fundamental understanding of the story or text. Now the third. E. E. Student gain an opportunity to demonstrate their ability to use the information in a new way. Now the forces. B. B. Students can deconstruct the story into its component parts to better understand it. Students can deconstruct the story into its component parts to better understand it. Now the fifth is D. The fifth is D. Evaluate. D. This level gives students an opportunity to develop an opinion and back it up with the reasoning and evidence. Now the last, sixth, A. A. This level affords an opportunity for students to take what they have learned and make something new from it. Now put the questions into the right order. A. What questions would you ask? B. What would happen if? C. What would you have done? Now D. Can you name the person who? E. Can you identify the main idea? F. What do you think will happen next? Now I'll give you some wait time. Have you finished? Now I'll give you some case. Now pay attention. D. The next F. F. What do you think will happen next? Now the next A. What questions would you ask? Now the next E. E. Can you identify the main idea? The next C. What would you have done? Now the next B. What would happen if? You put the questions into the right order. You may check up once more. D. F. A. E. C. B. Now are you tired? Now have a break, please. I'll give you 10 minutes for our breaking. Okay? Now have a break. Now let's continue our session with the activity, the hammer energizer.
One hammer. And after we are going to say 2 hammer and 3 hammer and 4 hammer. Okay? 5 hammer, 6 hammer, and for the body hammer.
Hammer with 3 hammers. We hammer with 3 hammers and we all do the same. We hammer with 4 hammers. We hammer with 4 hammers. We hammer with 4 hammers and we all do the same. We hammer with 5 hammers. We hammer with 5 hammers. We hammer with 5 hammers and we all do the same. We hammer with 6 hammers. We hammer with 6 hammers. We hammer with 6 hammers and we all do the same. We hammer with 7 hammers. We hammer with 7 hammers. We hammer with 7 hammers. We all do the same.
Now the next button factory. I think you are tired.
Hi, my name is Joe, and I work in a button factory. I have a wife and a dog and a family. One day, the boss came along. He said, Joe, are you busy? I said, no. Turn the button with your right hand. Hi, my name is Joe, and I work in a button factory. I have a wife and a dog and a family. One day, the boss came along. He said, Joe, are you busy? I said, no. Turn the button with your left hand. Hi, my name is Joe, and I work in a button factory. I have a wife and a dog and a family. One day, the boss came along. He said, Joe, are you busy? I said, no. Turn the button with your right foot. Hi, my name is Joe, and I work in a button factory. I have a wife and a dog and a family. One day, the boss came along. He said, Joe, are you busy? I said, no. Turn the button with your left foot. Hi, my name is Joe, and I work in a button factory. I have a wife and a dog and a family. One day, the boss came along. He said, Joe, are you busy? I said, no. Turn the button with your chin. Hi, my name is Joe, and I work in a button factory. I have a wife and a dog and a family. One day, the boss came along. He said, Joe, are you busy? I said, yes.
Now let's continue. Now let's continue our session. By Bloom taxonomy.
Hello and welcome to Teachings in Education, Bloom's Taxonomy, explained for classroom educators. Now, before we begin, let's give some credit to Benjamin Bloom, who created the taxonomy. And this taxonomy was later revised by Lauren Anderson. Now, here's the question posed. Why should educators use Bloom's taxonomy? Well, Bloom's taxonomy helps educators develop critical thinking skills and higher order cognitive abilities in their students. The best education is one where students are challenged. Next, what purpose does Bloom's taxonomy serve for educators? To provide a framework or organization for classifying lesson objectives, teachers can build their lessons through Bloom's taxonomy, for example. Now, let's specifically see how we can use Bloom's taxonomy. The first thing you want to do is consider the level of your students and the course level. A lesson for an algebra special education class will be different from an algebra advanced placement class. Aim to reach objectives for analyzing for remedial classes and evaluation for advanced placement classes. So, what are the levels of Bloom's taxonomy? The lowest level of cognitive rigor requires students to remember, apply, followed by analyze, followed by evaluate, and lastly, create, the highest level of cognitive rigor. Now, remember was first known as knowledge, but later revised. Similarly, understand was previously called comprehension. And lastly, the order of create and evaluate were switched. Bloom's taxonomy is actually a hierarchy, where students must first master the lower levels before mastering the higher levels. The lower levels are relatively simple levels, while the higher levels represent more complex cognitive rigor. The higher levels are more abstract as well. When utilizing Bloom's taxonomy as educators, descriptive verbs have been made available to help educators plan lessons. Verb tables have been created to align with levels of Bloom's. Arrange, describe, order, name, memorize. Those particular verbs are used to set objectives for remember level, explain, summarize, paraphrase, infer, discuss, are all aligned with understanding. Break down, calculate, model, subdivide, infer are all aligned with analyze. Critique and judge are aligned with the evaluation level. And lastly, generate, plan, and produce are aligned to the top levels of cognition, which is create. Now, to summarize what we have learned thus far. To develop critical thinking in students, educators use Bloom's descriptive verbs to write lesson objectives, which are aligned to different levels of Bloom's taxonomy. So, thank you for watching this video, and I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel and if you like the video as well. Thank you very much, and please subscribe.
I think through this video you have understood all the elementary. I think I have finished for today's sessions. Quiet. Now let's review. Let's review. We start today's session with the critical thinking and 21st century skills. Now let's review. we start with the game Royal Behavior, and we continue our session with the gallery work. We introduce the skills of the 21st century skills and name it: critical thinking and problem solving, collaboration and communication, creativity and imagination, citizenship and digital literacy, student leadership and personal development. Through this session, through this seminar, we have known the names of the 21st century skills. After that, you explore them deeply. We give the definition. The first skills: critical thinking and problem solving. It is this a definition for the critical thinking and problem solving. Now the next: collaboration and communication. And as the next: creativity and imagination. And as the next: citizenship. Now be ready to answer my questions after this. Digital literacy and student leadership and personal development. It was through the video we discuss and answer the questions, and after that we make up our feedback. Now the next we discuss after that Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy. The aim of the lecture today is support course participants with the opportunity to understand Bloom's taxonomy and create activities based on it. We give the definition of the taxonomy, what is taxonomy, and published. Bloom taxonomy was published in 1956, you know. And you know, or introduce the 6th level of the taxonomy. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, and evaluate, and create. From the nouns, we make up verbs. Through these academic verbs, we must make up your lesson objectives in your future planning by Bloom taxonomy. It is cognitive domain. It is affective domain. Psychomotor domain. And after that we analyze all the levels. For example, remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. After that we stop it by Bloom's questions. What questions we have or suggested? Questions of the remember levels and the suggested activities. We pay attention of these academic verbs. After that we stop at understand levels and the suggested questions and the suggested activities, and pay attention of the academic verbs write, retell, explain, and predict. Now the next apply level. We pay attention to the suggested questions and the suggested activities. After that analyze. Evaluate. Last. No. We have create. After that, we have done this task or activity, and we check up through this activity. After that, you put questions into the right order. After that, we check, put these questions into the right order. These are case. Now let's make up interview with you. Айсура готова, спрашиваете. Совместно осы жаттығуларды жібере аласыз ба? Әрине жіберем, әрине жіберем. Бұл менің таза еңбегім, әрине жіберемін, беремін. Қайырбек Амангалиев. Жауап берді. Apply, create, жаңағы. Молодец. D, remember, E, analyze, F, understand деп жаңағы жаттығуға жасаған екен. Молодец. Қандай? Белсенді менің тыңдаушым Қайырбек. Молодец. Так. Тексердің бе? Қайырбек? Қайырбек. A, apply, B, create, evaluate, D, remember, E, analyze, F, understand. F, understand. F, understand. Тексердің бе? Так, Күләш Алибековна маған сұрақ қойыпты. Мен жаңа кірдім дейді. Уважаемый Жемсанец, я только зашла. Скажите, пожалуйста, речь идет о критическом мышлении. Это, по-вашему, критериальный талдау дейді? Жоқ, бұл бүгінгі біздің мақсатымыз негізі сыни ойлаудың 21-ші we must learn, you must know. Types of the, you must know types of the skills of the 21st century skills, and give the definition. And through the activities we identify and learn definitions of the skills. Словая Батырова. Apply, екіншісі create, үшіншісі evaluate, төртіншісі understand, бесіншісі analyze, алтыншысы remember дейді. Так, Словая Батырова. Taxonomy is practiced and the science classification of concept. Райхан Асылбековна writes, children will be interested if we use these new activities in our everyday day lessons. Алтын дәулет яры. Taxonomy is a practice science and the science of the classification of things and the concept. Слувай Батырова. It is the duty of us to form a generation. Therefore, I think that we should use new teaching methods in each of our lessons. Laila Marjan writes, yes, I think it is important to use in class. Слувай Батырова. 21st century skills allows children to freely express their opinions, yes, puts forward new ideas, helps to solve problems independently in terms of critical thinking. Молодец. Шнар Габидулина. Yes, I think it is very important and try to use them. Слувай Батырова writes, yes, it is important. 21st century skills are modern requirements. Gulnara Dusingaleva writes, children have come to the reply of the teacher at the end of the communication. It's the rule of the thinking here. Taqairbek Amangaliev writes, a critical thinking, the learners will try to solve the problem question using their own ideas and opinions, give their own version of the problem. Молодец. Айсура Гатава. The rule of the critical thinking is very harsh because with each other children listen to the teacher, think, give their possible response, collaborate, and in the end try to find the right answer. Super. Так, Laila Marjan writes, critical thinking helps to express one's thoughts. Так, Gulsizm Saginova writes, we should enlarge our using of 21st century skills. Слувай Батырова. Muddy slides. Dariga. In critical thinking, children learn to see their own opinion, share it, hear other ideas. In this video, teacher gives them motivation after their answers. It's too important. Super. Молодец, Дарига. Rayhana Slbekovna writes, critical thinking improves express their own idea. Rayhana Slbekovna. Запомнила all the skills of the 21st century skills. He writes collaboration, communication, citizenship, student leadership, and etc. Rayhana Slbekovna answers 7 skills. Nushat тоже 7 skills. Rayhana Slbekovna writes communication, develops understanding the speech. Sluvay Batyrova writes collaborative work helps us to think critical. Nazgul Qismetova. Collaborative work give critical thinking. Және бірінші басындағы сұрақтарға Айсура Гатова жауап беретін. Because the sons are the continuous of the generation. Sluvay Batyrova. She has him because she wants to make the dress seem more magnificent. Айсура Гатова. Maybe the queen wanted to push up her skirt to be better photographs. Yes. To hold. Да, ответі болады. Себебі ол королева, себебі өзінің королева екенін көрсеткісі келіп тұр ғой ана жерде. Жаңағы көйлегінің астына король нені служанканы қойып отырғызады. Сосын ана жерде мужской силы нужно ұстап тұратын жаңағы 10 шақты баланы. Как будто өзі ұстап тұрған сияқты болып көріну керек болып тұр ғой фотографияда. Дұрыс айтасың, Айсура Гатауова. Maybe the queen wanted to push up her skirt to be a better photographed. Ең соңғысында тағы қандайлар. Қандай сұрақтарыңыз бар? Now what is taxonomy? What is taxonomy? Now what is taxonomy? Now, how many levels of taxonomy? How many levels of the taxonomy? Слова Батырова. Today's lesson was even better than usual. Our knowledge is growing day by day. You are very knowledgeable teacher. Many thanks, дейді. Рахмет, жаным. Дарига Вакуанова отвечает. 6 levels of taxonomy. Рахмет, рахмет. There are 6 levels of taxonomy. Слова Батырова отвечает. Now what are they? Names or nouns, after that to verbose form. For example, knowledge, remember. Айсура Гатауова. Taxonomy is a practice and the science of the classification of things or concepts, including the principles that underline such classification. Молодец. Молодец. 5 levels. Разве 5 levels? How many levels? Айсура Гатауова. You are not right. Not 5 levels. Now count once more, please. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. The nouns: knowledge, comprehension, application, analyze, synthesis, and evaluation. Yes, Luai Batırva. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes? Luai Batırva. Дарига Акванова. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. Yes? Now, Gulnara Dusingalieva. Information of the session is useful for sure. We refresh of our knowledge and continue using it in the setting learning objectives. I see. Айсура Гатауова. I think that taxonomy is smarter way of the developing students' abilities. Айсура Гатауова. Sorry, 6 levels. You correct yourselves. Now name the affective domains. It starts, for example, receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing. Now, do you remember effective domains? Receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing. Так, жаттығуды барлығыңыз жасадыңдар ма? Тек қана Қайырбектің көріп тұрмын мен Қайырбектің жасаған. Құрметті тыңдаушылар, жаңа берген менің жаттығуымды Блум таксономиясы бойынша барлықтарың жасадыңдар ма? Бұл кәдімгі фидбак қой, керемет. Так, бүгінгі сабаққа қатысқан, өте белсенді қатысқан мұғалімдерімді атап кеткім келіп тұр бүгінгі. Так, Айсура Гатаува, Дариға Қуанова. Молодец, Дариға Қуанова. Receiving, responding, valuing, organization and characterizing. 6 levels. Қайырбек Аманғалиев. Райхан Асылбековна, иә дейді. Сұлубай Батырова, иә жасадым дейді. Молодец, молодец. Так, өте белсенді мұғалімдерді атап кеткім келіп тұр бүгінгі сабақта. Маған спотинг жасаған, көмектескен, және осы информацияны, ақпараттарды толықтай алып қатысып отырған мұғалімдер, белсенді мұғалімдер мен Дариға Қуанова, Қайырбек Аманғалиев, Райхан Асылбековна, Айсура Гатаува, Гүлнара Дүйсенғалиева, Дариға Қуанова, айттым ба, Сұлубай Батырова. Так, Қайырбек, молодец. Айсура Гатаува, айттым ғой да, Күләш Алибековна. Ақсауле. Сұлубай Батыровна, айттым ғой да. Алтын Даулетярова, Ләйла, Мажен, Алия Сүйіналиева. Міне осы мұғалімдер, Гүлсезім Сагинова. Өте белсенді қатыстыңдар. Рахмет. Ойлаймын, бүгінгі сабақ ұнады сіздерге деп. Себебі мына кері байланыстан көріп отырмын сіздерге сабақтың ұнағанын. Енді тыңдау өте қиын болғаннан кейін бірінші сабақты семинар етіп жасап, сіздердің жаңағы қабылдауларыңызға кішкене жеңілдеу жасаған сияқтымын. Содан кейін екінші сабақты да жаңа Блум таксономиясы бойынша нағыз керекті өздеріңізге жаңағы деңгейлерді қалай талдау жұмыстарын жасадық және оны жаттығумен қорытындыладық. Мен өзім ойлаймын, бүгінгі сабақ өз мақсатына жетті және сіздер өте қабылдадыңдар. Сіздердің қатысқандарың үшін рахмет айтамын. Енді бірінші оқуға дейін аман сау болыңыздар. Бірінші оқуда күтем барлықтарыңызды түгелдей. Және бірінші оқуда болатын сабақтардың тақырыптарын айтып кетейін. Гарднердің әртүрлі зияткерлік теориясы дейді, білім алушылардың оқу стиліне сәйкес тапсырмаларды құрастыру дейді. Содан кейін тілді меңгерудегі қабілеттілік пен өнімділік, тілдік дағдыларды біріктіру қағидалары дейді, критериалды бағалаудың моделінің қағидалары. Осы тақырыптарда мен дайындалам. Сосын бірінші оқуда сіздерді күтем. Сондықтан сіздерге сау болыңыздар деп айтамын. Аман болыңыздар, сау болыңыздар. Дариға Қуанова, see you soon, goodbye деп жазып жатыр. Рахмет барлықтарыңызға. Аман болыңыздар. Бірінші оқуда кездескенше. Айсура Гатау, сізге рахмет. Жемсанесіні мықты өтті дейді сабақ. Өте. Гүлсезім Сагинова, see you on Monday. Yes, see you on Monday. Сұлуай Батырова, сіз де сау болыңыз, тағы да көп рахмет. Сау болыңыздар, аман болыңыздар.